Alright, so in this video, we are going to do a deep dive in the section 2 of the reading exam section, that is for TELF P1. So in the previous video, we have already discussed how you can ace the section 1 of the reading exam, which was matching the title. In section 2 of the reading exam, you will be given 5 questions. They will be multiple choice questions, right? So each question will have 3 possible choices, which you'll have to select the correct answer. And also you will be given one long form article or text basically. So it could be an essay or from a newspaper. So it would be a bit long. And then those 5 multiple choice questions will be questions from those long article or an essay. And obviously you need to pick the right answer for that. Again, the total point for this exam or this section of the exam is again on 25 points, 5 points for each question, and you need to pick the correct choice from for each one, right? So let's look at how we can kind of really ace this, right? What techniques and tips we can use. So a couple of things here I would like to tell you. First thing is that, if you just read the whole paragraph in one shot, right, it's really unlikely that you will be able to understand everything. What will happen is probably you will panic and then you might go blank, right? The reason for that is like it is a pretty long form paragraph taken sometimes often from a real newspaper or a script, and many of the words you might not understand because they're just beyond B1 level. So the point is to not understand every single word or vocabulary in the long paragraph. The point is that you understand enough that you can answer these questions, right? So that's the thing that I want you to know. Other thing that I wanted to tell is like the way you should start is in this long paragraph, right? Try to read the title of the paragraph if it's given, right? And try to get an idea of what the article or paragraph is all about. So in this case, it says Bureau Werkstatt, Chance for Behindert Menschen. Something about like office work placement, something like that, and chance for like, disabled employees or disabled people, right? And then in the subtitle, you can see it says Computerarbeit im Auftrag Privatfirmen. Jeder Dritte findet nach einem 5-monatigen Kurs einen Job. Interessierte Unternehmen werden noch gesucht. So it's something about like, if you're disabled, you can probably get some sort of computer work in private firms. And every third person basically who attends the 5-month course with them is able to somehow get a job, computer work, because they're disabled, so they can do computer job. And like, interested like firms or employers are also, they come and hire you basically. So that's the kind of gist of this whole thing, right? Now, whenever there's a multiple choice question in any exam, not just this exam, one of the common tricks that you can use is obviously to eliminate the obviously wrong choice, right? That's just the oldest trick in the book. So here as well, once you have read the title and the subtitle, what you should really do is actually go and read the first question, right? What it is saying. It says, like point number 6, right? In einem 5-monatigen Kurs können die Teilnehmer. In the 5-month course, the participants can. Then they give you 3 options, right? Eine berufliche Ausbildung abschließen. That's the number 1, right? Then the point number 2 is like the second option is lernen, was sie in der Schule verpasst haben, right? And then point number 3 is praktische Erfahrung mit der Büroarbeit sammeln. So let's translate if you don't understand, like I can explain you. So, eine berufliche Ausbildung abschließen, right? Point number 8 is basically saying the participants of the course get a complete professional education. I'm not sure if that's correct. Like even just without even reading the paragraph, I can feel like it's just a 5-month course. How will you be able to get a complete professional education? It's not a 4-year degree. It's not a master's degree. It's not a grad program, right? So already without even reading the paragraph, I can kind of guess that the A looks kind of wrong, right? Let's look at B, right? Lernen, was sie der Schule verpasst haben. Learn what they have missed in school. And that also sounds very wrong. There's nothing about school, right? Nobody's going to school. From the title, it feels like grown up adults who are kind of have some sort of disability can take a course and then get a job as a computer worker. So A and B already kind of feels wrong. What C says is praktische Erfahrung mit Büroarbeiten sammeln. Gain practical experience with office work. That kind of makes more sense, right? Already. Because, like, if you take a 5 months course, you can get some experience on how office work or on a computer kind of looks like. Obviously, you will not have a full blown degree, but you can get an idea, and then most employers might want to hire. Using that, you can already figure out that answer number 3, right? Sorry, point number C, like, is the correct answer, right? So using this trick by using process of elimination, and by obviously eliminating the obviously contradicting or incorrect answers, like options, we were able to easily find the correct answer. Similarly, if we just look at like the question number 7, right? Die Bürowerkstatt versucht außerdem, right? The Bürowerkstatt also tries to what? Point number A, what is this say? Auch jenen Arbeitslosen zu helfen, die nicht behindert sind. Point number A says tries to find help unemployed people who are not disabled. Nicht behindert, like that is already like contradicting again with the title. The title says like it's giving chance to disabled or behindered people, right? Not nicht behindert. So that's obviously eliminated. Point number A. Option number B, right? What is this? It says behindert auf die Abschlussprüfung vorzubereiten, which means prepares the disabled for the final exam. No, there is no final exam. They're not preparing anyone for a university education or it's not a private tuition to pass some exam and get good grades. It's not about that, right? Like, again, we didn't even read the whole passage, but that's just so obvious just from the title, right? So point, like, option number B is also just feels super incorrect. Option number C, what does it say? Für die behindert Menschen ein Arbeit zu finden. Point number C sounds as finds job for the disabled people. So the Bürowerkstatt, the place Bürowerkstatt tries to find employment for disabled people. So that sounds correct. That's the title. It aligns with the title. And again, answer number C is correct. And just by like reading the title and eliminating obviously wrong choices, we were able to just get the correct answer without even reading the whole paragraph. And that's what I want to really drive home here and focus on that. The paragraph will be long. You can skim through it, but just read the title and the subtitle and then like just do a first pass on all of these multiple choice questions, right? And once you do that, you should be able to actually answer a couple of questions by default, because just by eliminating the obviously wrong choices, right? And you should be able to get pretty good marks here. Now, question number 8, let's see what does it say. Laut Gesetz müssen österreichischen Firmen pro 25 Beschäftigte. So it says according to the law of Austria or according to law, Austrian companies must hire 25% of the people, basically who are kind of disabled or something. So so this is, now you cannot answer this without kind of reading the title, right? Because now this has gone into the specific nitty-gritty. So now how do you answer this? How do you go about answering this, right? So you first of all again just read all the options. The option number 1 is ein besonderes Steuerzahlen, must pay some special tax. That's option number A. Option number B is ein behindert einstellen oder ein monatliche Gebühr bezahlen. So hire a disabled person or pay a monthly fee or a fine, right? Or C, for jeder behindert monatlich 150 Euro bezahlen. So for every disabled person, pay 150 euros monthly. So that is just obviously wrong. Like, option number C feels just wrong, right? Because like, why would the Austrian government make a law that would punish employers, right, and then make them pay 150 euros for every disabled person they hire, right? So that's just like option C is totally wrong, right? Option A also kind of feels wrong. Look, I haven't at this point, by the way, read the whole passage. I'm just guessing it, right? Like, option A obviously feels also wrong. Why? Because, like, it's a general tax. Like, all firms in Austria, by Austrian law, all firms must pay a 25% tax. Not really. It doesn't talk about any disability, right? Option B is the correct answer basically here, which says, either einbehindet Einstellung oder ein monatlich Gebühr bezahlen. So either hire, option B is like either hire one disabled person or pay a monthly fee. That is the only option that makes any logical sense, right? Because this article from this title we already figured out is about like, providing jobs for disabled people. It makes sense that the Austrian government would pass some sort of law which would say that, okay, either you hire at least one disabled person, or if you don't, then you must pay a monthly fine or a fee, something like that, right? So again, without even reading the whole passage, I was able to get the correct answer for this, answer number B. Now let's go to 9th. Let's see, like, we are on a streak. So I just read the title and the subtitle, and just using common sense and process of elimination, we were able to answer 3 questions correctly. So let's keep going. Let's see how far we can go with this strategy, right? So point number 9 is like, seit der Vereinsgründung, since the organization was founded, basically, since this Bureau was founded. Option number A is what? Konnten für ein Drittel der behindert Kursteilnehmer eine Arbeit gefunden werden. Since the organization was founded, every third or a third of the participants who took the course have found work. So option A already feels correct. Why? Because this is exactly what we read in the subtitle. So if you look at the subtitle, it just says, jeder Dritte findet nach einem 5-monatigen Kurs einen Job. Every third person. So option A already feels correct. But let's read option number 2 and option B and option C for 9 and see does it even make sense, right? So option B is Gunther Haus for den Verein schon viel Geld sparen. Like, B doesn't make sense. Gunther Haus was able to save money for the organization. That is just like not like relevant at all, right? Doesn't make any sense. And option number C is Zahlen arbeitslos ein Drittel weniger Steuer. Point number C says like unemployed people now pay 1/3 less in taxes. No, this again, option C is also incorrect because it's not about unemployed people paying less tax. It's really about disabled people finding job after taking this course. So the only logical answer for this is actually option A. And everything else just does not make any sense, right? So again, you're able to just like answer this just by reading the subtitle without reading any passage, right? Just common sense, just literally common sense. And that's why I'm saying you can go pretty far just by using common sense in this case. This is one of the easiest part of the exams, and you can score really high marks here. And by the way, this is actually from a real model paper by Telk. So, you can just check for yourself. So this is not like some super easy exam. This is the actual model exam provided to us by Telk. So it's kind of an official model paper. Anyway, final question number 10. Let's see. Die Lehrerin, die Bürowerkstatt gegründet hat. The teachers who founded the Bürowerkstatt. Now option A. What is option A? Wollte etwas tun, damit behindert eine Arbeitsplatz erhalten. Wanted to do something to help disabled people get jobs. That's the option A. That again sounds correct based on our understanding of the title and subtitle, right? But let's see option B and C if they make sense. Option B says wolltet nicht lange Geography und Geschichte unterrichten. Did not want to teach geography and history anymore. No, that does not make any sense. They didn't find this organization because they were kind of bored teaching geography or history. They founded this organization because they wanted to help disabled people find jobs. So again, B is nonsense. Like option B is like doesn't make any sense. Option A feels correct right now. And option C is what? Wird nach Ausbildung der behindert nicht mehr gebraucht. Again, it doesn't make sense. That like the teachers who founded the Bürowerkstatt are no longer needed after training the disabled. Like, no, like this makes no sense. Like, the point is to make the people who are disabled who get this training so that they are needed by the employer. So again, option B and C are completely nonsense. That does not make any sense. The only logical answer is option A. And just like that, we were able to get 25 out of 25 marks just by using process of elimination, common sense, and just reading the title and subtitle, right? So this is what I wanted to share with you. This is the strategy on how you can really ace the section 2 of the reading exam in TELC B1 and score really, really high marks. So imagine, like, you have watched my previous video, right, about the section 1. So you can get 25 out of 25 there, you can get 25 out of 25 in this thing. You already have 50 marks. So, and you need 135 marks to pass the exam. And just by doing these two sections, you already got 50 marks. So passing the TELC B1 exam is much, much easier than you actually think. So yeah, that was it. And now I'm going to show you how you can actually use German prep to practice as much as possible. So now that you know the strategies on how to ace the section 2, which is the reading comprehension of the reading exam, all you need to do is use those same strategies to practice a lot, right? The more you practice, the more you employ these strategies while you're practicing for the actual exam, the more you will be able to feel confident in the real exam and do really, really well. So yes, in germanprep.com, you can just come here and then you can just practice as many exams as possible. They're as realistic as possible. So you can see you will get this very long paragraph, just like the real exam. And like sometimes you're not given the title and subtitle, right? In this case, if you're not given the title and subtitle, try to focus on the first sentence of the structure and the last sentence, because they generally give you quite a good idea of what the topic is all about and really help you solve the exam. And obviously, while you're at it, the more you practice, right, the more exposure you will get to different sorts of words, right? So for example, if you don't know what Landwirtschaftlichen mean, you can always translate it. And then that's how you will build a vocabulary, because as you're practicing, obviously you can use flashcards and that sort of stuff. German prep also has that. But like using this thing, like you can also just get the feel of how real passages appear and what kind of vocabulary is generally used. And let's say if you practice like 100 of these type of exercises, right, you will ace the exam. You will really ace the exam, because you know already the strategies, tips and tricks, and then you will have like a lot of practice. So when you actually appear in the exam, you will know what to expect and you will feel really confident. And just by being confident, you will avoid making stupid mistakes in the actual exam, and you should be able to pass the exam. So yeah, in German prep, you can just get this thing just like the real exam. You eliminate the obviously wrong choices. Right now, I'm not thinking. I'm just like explaining you how this works. So I'm just going to pick any random choice and eliminate the other two options. But you will obviously practice it properly while, focusing on the text, reading the text. And then, you will have these 5 questions like this. Like, so you can eliminate the wrong choice and then select the correct one. And then you can keep doing that basically. And then it will give you even feedback. So once you have answered all the questions, right, it tells you how much points you scored. So I scored 10 out of 25, right? And this was the correct answer. This was the text. Like you can see, this was the whole text. And this was the question. And this was the wrong answer. My answer was this, which was wrong. The correct answer is this. And it even gives you the explanation why the answer is the correct. So it tells you all the correct answers that you have given and all the wrong answers, right? And that way, if you keep practicing, and these are you can practice as many exercises as you want. And let's say if you do 100 of them, right? You're practicing every day, you have 2 months, you're practicing 2 exercises every day. You can easily do 100 plus of these, right? You will be guaranteed to score 25 out of 25 marks here, right? So yeah, and if you score 25 out of 25 in the first exam, which is match the titles, and the second section of the exam, which is reading comprehension, you already score 50 marks, right? And you need only 135 marks to pass the exam. So just by doing really well in these 2 subsections of the reading exam, you will be able to score 50%, 50 marks, right? Which brings you really close to passing the exam, right? So yeah, I'm telling you, TELC B1 German is not that hard. Passing the exam is not that hard. It's much easier than you think. All you need is some structured practice and some strategies and tips and tricks to ace the exam. And if you do that right, you should be able to pass the exam. So, next video, I will be explaining the strategies, tips, and tricks for the final and the third section of the reading exam, which is match the adverbs. But until then, good luck preparing for the exam. And if you have a exam coming soon, then good luck for that. Bye.